that puts it out in front of everybody. Hey, these are my words, and I'm here as an inspiration, an aspiration, and I want to share. Speaking is a wonderful way to share in any manner. I mean, even if it's just your, like I say, your kids and your little league, kids team, whatever it is. Just know that by giving a speech, it didn't have to be a long, drawn out, Mr. Smith goes to Washington type of speech. It can be, very short, very simple. I was at a job once where, I gave speeches every morning to my employees, and I thought about what they do in their own lives and what I know, and I know that some of them would go to and shoot a game of pool after work, and I use that analogy in the context of you do in life is like a game of billiards. You set yourself up for the next shot. Simply making the shot in front of you, oh, that's great, you made it. But if you don't leave yourself a shot, then you've played into the hands of your opponent. So by always thinking ahead and always anticipating your next shot, that's how you win. That's how you win in life. Just like that's how you win in billiards. Well, I just remember that speech because it was one out of many speeches that I had given to folks, and a young man that worked for me several years later, maybe 7-8 years later, I ran into him, and we were talking about back when he worked with me at this particular company, and he just looked at me and goes, I have to thank you for something. So what's that? He said, I just remember a speech that you gave one morning about how billiards was like life. You have to set yourself up for your next shot. And that always stuck with me, and I've applied those principles, and I think it's helped me immensely. Wow, I was, you never know who you're going to reach and by what means you're going to reach. But it meant a lot to me that this person, acknowledged that, came into my life and told me that, my words and my speech mattered, that it gave him direction. It was thought-provoking enough. Simple analogy. Again, I used what, I knew about some of the folks, and I just thought, this makes sense. And that was my speech. I was fortunate enough to what I consider give enough speeches that, being recognized for the value, that, that's kind of why I wanted to go into, what I do as far as, the podcast series and, speaking engagements and what have you. It makes sense to me, reaching out to people and lessons and values. But with that, I will wrap this up, and I appreciate it as I do when you listen to any and all the podcasts. That means a lot to me, and perhaps if you're listening to the podcast, I would like to hear from you. Shoot me an email if there was a particular part that you liked, or if there was a particular part you said, that made no sense, it was stupid. I mean, I can take criticism too, right? But if there was something that you liked, shoot me an email, let me know. It's as simple as that. No no big commitment, I just want to hear from you. And you can shoot me that email at Derek@FastlanePodcast.com. Again, Derek at FastlanePodcast.com. You can listen to the podcast on iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify. Anyway, a whole host of outlets to get the Fastlane Podcast for Success, and I do appreciate it. I know that I've got some listeners in some foreign outlets, across the globe. I appreciate you, from the folks that are in South Africa to Japan and England and Poland and Germany and Canada and what have you. The list goes on. I want to thank all you guys as well for tuning into Fastlane Podcast for Success. And with that, I'm going to sign out. I'm your host, Derek Lane. Once again, bless you all. Have a great night. Thank you.